iShare is the latest startup in the real estate syndication space.
Our mission is to create transparency, provide the liquidity, and offer market intelligence that can help you succeed at a higher level.
To get involved, join our iShare sponsored Facebook group.
Together, we can raise the standard.
Happy Thursday and welcome back to another episode of the Fundication Show live. We also do these videos in our studio in Salt Lake City, Utah, and about once a week we come here on social media and we do them via live. So my name is Kalani Michelle. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Fundication Show. Christian Sadler, who is also on here, is one of my co-hosts. Hi, Christian. And
hey.
Then we have David Zeff, and he was actually in our studio about 2 weeks ago now, I think. And we interviewed David on the Fundication Show. He is one of our iShare approved sponsors, so he's gone through all of our extensive approval process. We vetted him, we've looked into him, and he's a good guy and he knows what he's doing. So just a little bit more about David. He has over 30 years of experience in acquisition, value enhancement, and disposition of institutional and private real estate. He has his experience also includes acquisition and asset management of over $400 million of commercial real estate, including office, industrial, retail, multifamily properties. And as of 2015 now, David, you're principal with Sterling Partners, where you mainly focus on market rate value add multifamily properties. And so I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit more about kind of who you and what you're up to. And then I know we have an awesome resort style living opportunity in Tucson, Arizona that is absolutely beautiful. And so I'm super excited for you to be here today. Thank you for joining Christian and I, and I'll hand it over to you.
Well, great. Thanks for having me here in this format. And again, thanks for having me in the studio. It was really great to see everything that you and your team are doing with iShares. I think it's very innovative, what you guys are doing on the secondary market and providing liquidity to our investors that are in a particular transaction where they may be have a life-changing event or what have you, where they need some liquidity. So I think what you guys are doing for the sponsors on the front end, where you're providing an approval process for all the investors to let people know that the sponsors that are on your platform have gone through the screening process and the evaluation that you guys are doing, and what you're doing for the sponsors with your top off equity and access to the accredited investor base for our 506c offerings is really great for the sponsors. And then again, as we talked about, providing liquidity for the investors is really gets to the heart of it. And there's not a lot of options for people. And so as a sponsor, again, it's really innovative and it's something that we're excited to roll out to our investors. So
yeah, we're excited.
David,
go ahead.
Oh, David, I would love for you to share that just that experience and what it was like. I mean, you don't have to go in deep detail, but for anybody that's watching this that is a sponsor that's thinking, do I want to go through the hassle, right? The hassle of getting approved with these guys. Maybe share what that experience was like all the way through to getting on the Fundication Show. And I know that we're underwriting this deal that we're going to be talking about for potential top-off services as well. So yeah, I'd love to just get your take on it so that other people are hearing it from your point of view.
Well, the process was really, it wasn't onerous really in any respect, and primarily because a lot of our track record or the information that was requested, we really already have organized, whether it's our track record or the schedule of real estate. There may have been some extra detail that kind of went into the information that was requested, but I would say the lion's share of it, we have already prepared for how we do business anyways. So that part really wasn't very onerous for us at all. And then your team made it really easy. So I would say for people that have that information at their fingertips, and it doesn't really add anything else to a burden to go through the approval process. And and coming to Salt Lake was great. I come from the school of relationships matter, and relationships really are at the core and the heart of what we do. And that's really what makes things go round and round, especially in this environment. So getting there to meet not only you and Kalani, but also Mike and Kent, but the guys behind the scenes, Brady and Brennan and Nick, and just a great group, and enjoying what you do and enjoying the people that are around you, to me, makes it all that much more special. So I highly recommend it. I can't wait to get invited back.
You're going to be back, I'm sure, David.
Right.
So, David, last time we showed your plaque. Do you still have it behind? You do have it behind you. I see it.
I
there.
do. Yeah. Yep. The approved sponsor certification. There it is. So.
Yeah, so that's exciting. We're excited to roll this out in a bigger fashion too. So thanks for being part of the foundational crew. How about that?
There you go.
The founding member. So Christian, I'll throw it over to you though, so you can lead us into this next section of the interview.
Yeah, David, for those who haven't watched the video yet, which by the way, it's live on YouTube. For those of you who are watching this and want a little bit more detail than what we're going to go into here, and just get to know David and what he's doing, go to the YouTube link. We'll put it into the chat, and we'd love for you guys to watch that. But David, the nutshell of Sterling Capital Partners, or Sterling Partners, I guess it is. I always forget which one it is, but why don't you tell us what's kind of the core of who you guys are and what you're doing, and then we can jump over and talk about your offering that you have.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I started in downtown San Francisco real estate in 1992, and I worked for a couple of different companies. One was the model that I have now, the sponsor operating model with institutional capital as their LPs. And then I worked for another Northern California-based company that was all internally capitalized and was executing for their own portfolio. And in 2005 is when I went out and started the predecessor company to Sterling Real Estate Partners, a company called Pacific Real Estate Partners. And I really wanted to get back to the entrepreneurial side of real estate and to that institutional private equity, high net worth investor, LP, if you will, equity partner, where we would be the operating partner and executing the business plan. And I've always just been a little risk adverse. And so we always focused on existing assets, whether it was office, commercial. And in 2010 is when we made the switch to residential, when I realized in that downturn, housing is where I wanted to be for my money, my family's money, and our investors' money long term. And so we've always focused on buying existing assets and finding a way to improve them, to add value, to be able to obviously sell them at a profit for our partners. And so we've gone back to, but we always kind of invested on a smaller boutique basis. We're not a big kind of allocator of real estate and deployment of capital. We're looking for specific opportunities where we see value on the buy side when you buy the asset, the old kind of saying, make your money when you buy. And so that's kind of just one of the tenets of how we operate. And we're exclusively focused on multifamily. We're vertically integrated, property management, accounting, construction management, everything we do in-house. And so our volume in our portfolio has fluctuated with kind of where we are in the markets. And in 2021 and beginning first part of 2022, we weren't super active on the buy side. We were more active on the sell side because we felt our assets were, I don't want to say overvalued, but people were valuing them more than what we had, the value that we had placed on them, and they were exceeding all of our internal pro forma metrics. So we've been a net seller really since 2021. The assets that we did buy through 2021 were ones where we felt were a little bit more opportunistic. And so when we saw assets, existing assets, primarily in Phoenix market, Class B 1980s vintage assets, were trading above replacement cost, we just felt that that wasn't a good value environment for us, investment environment for us. So we moved away from that and we bought some adaptive reuse properties. We bought a couple of hotels that we are in the process of converting to, I want to say affordable multifamily, but it's not affordable by right. It's affordable just because the native rents and where they sit in the market are at the lower end of the rent spectrum. And we ended up buying at that time, we bought a fully entitled land site in an opportunity zone. So we used the opportunity in that time to find different opportunities in the market we felt where there was better value than buying an existing asset above replacement cost. And so again, that's kind of how we ended up kind of getting to where we are today with this particular asset, but also just a little look of how we manage our portfolio and a really high level overview of our investment strategy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that was a great recap. For those of you guys that are going to go watch the video, you guys will hear about how David's been through multiple downturns now and how he shifted with those downturns. And that's part of the reasoning of moving from office, for example, to multifamily and housing. And that is part of the reason that you've chosen to now move into the adaptive reuse space, is just focusing on what people might not look at as a housing downturn, but an overall change and shift in the market. You guys are shifting with it, reaping the rewards of this great market, but also being careful in your buy. So I can't wait to go through Presidio Palms again. And I think this is a perfect time for it.
Yeah.
Well, we've always done well with projects that where the rent structure was always kind of at the lower end of the market. We've always just felt that that kind of workforce housing, attainable housing spectrum of the market was really kind of the meaty side of the curve, if you will, where there's just more people that can afford a lower rent than there are people that can afford a Class A rent. And so we've stayed out of that really true kind of core institutional development market and really cut our teeth and made our sweet spot, again, that existing asset value add space. And so the Tucson property that we bought as a hotel, as I said, during COVID, really kind of pulls it all together. It's a project that we had to rezone. It was a project that we've taken through the permit process and really have spent the last year and a half getting everything construction ready. And so it's a 10-acre site right in downtown Tucson, which makes it really, really unique for us to provide, as Kalani said at the top of the call, is resort style amenities in this 10-acre site right 2 blocks from downtown Tucson. So we are at the point where, as I said, we have everything that is now construction ready. We actually did start construction about 60 days ago, and we are working on delivering our first units coming up here next month in June. And so we are at a phase where we capitalized the initial acquisition and the permitting and entitlement process of the investment, and now we are finalizing the capitalization to fund the balance of the construction of the asset. So the investors that are coming in at this point in time, really, they don't have any of that entitlement, execution, pricing risk, financing risk, all those things that we'll get into here in the presentation. So
yeah, I think something that's key about that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kalani.
No, that's all I was saying is I'm excited to see it again. It's a beautiful property.
Oh, okay. Well, something that I wanted to point out and something that I think is exciting about this for anybody that's looking is David, you've de-risked this essentially for the most part. I mean, obviously, there's risk to every investment. We're not promoting you in any way. You know, we are not a broker dealer. We're not taking a part of this deal unless we put our own funds into it, right? Which we're actually underwriting for potentially to bring in some top-off funding. So just some disclaimers there. But you really capitalized it yourself. You've gotten it through all of the entitlement and the what if stages that normally somebody would get into in an early investment. And I didn't realize that you guys are already to the point where you're delivering units. I mean, you guys are really far along in the process.
Yeah, we are. And certainly issues on the debt side since the beginning of the year have slowed the process down a little bit. We're working on a large equity commitment that, again, we're processing the lender approvals, and it's a tough environment. That's all I can say. I mean, everybody knows, but so that's kind of where we are in that process. So the asset again is Presidio Palms. Is there a way to make it a little bit large for everybody?
There
we go. So that's a good overview of a photo of the site. There's a 4-story building at the front, and then there's 6 2-story buildings that surround the back of the site. And you can see downtown Tucson. That's just a couple of blocks away. We did win an award for the project in the community, the Metropolitan PIMA Award for it's called the Common Ground Award, and those are for projects that are mutually beneficial for the real estate, but for the community and for the city. And so to take an underutilized hotel at the time, it was 278 units, but the current operator was a mom and pop operator, and they were only operating 92 units on the property. So the site was underutilized, wasn't reaching its full potential, wasn't serving the community very well. And so we were recognized by the Metropolitan PIMA Alliance last year for this project. So it's kind of nice, kind of fun.
Yeah. And I think part of that is that you're really tying in with the culture of Arizona, right? Like, people are really proud of the style of the buildings there, and you guys are keeping everything kind of in that style, but modernizing it with the amenities and the colors.
Exactly. We'll get into all that. So as we talked about, it's an adaptive reuse project. We've reduced the execution risk in terms of the acquisition, the entitlements, the financing is all in place. The interest rate is capped through the entire term of the loan. So a lot of the headline news and things that you're reading are, again, all de-risked from this investment. The affordability side of the project I mentioned earlier as well is something that we're really proud of. Is our smallest, because the units are smaller, the rents are going to be smaller in nominal dollars. And so our smallest studio potential residents can qualify with an annual income of $28,500. So very, which is lower than the HUD affordable 60% of AMI calculation that you need for to apply for HUD, for some of the HUD tax credit housing. So one of the things that's also really nice about the site is because it is 10 acres and it's underutilized, and it's in the current configuration with the hotel, is we have the site entitled for an additional 154 units. So once we finish the conversion of the hotel, then when the time is right, we have the ability to build another 154 units of new construction on the site. And so the plan there for that, while none of that value, I'll say right now, none of that value or land value or development value is factored into any of our returns or the investment, it's something else that we were able to create value through the process after we put it under contract. So, but the ultimate vision is to develop some townhome style, some attached garage style units to the property, so we can have a lot of studios and 1-bedrooms in the hotel conversion, and then the new conversion we can have some larger family friendly larger townhome style units that really complements the El Presidio neighborhood district. And for those that are familiar with Tucson, will understand that it's a really, really kind of protected and historic neighborhood district right in downtown Tucson. Very desirable and just a really, really neat area. So we're happy to be part of that.
I didn't know that you were doing some townhouses too, David. So that's something fun to learn this time around.
Yeah, it keeps getting better and better. Yeah. There's obviously there's a lot to the project. So as you can see here's an aerial view of the site. We'll talk about the amenities, but because the hotel was built in the 60s, it has a just massive swimming pool right in the center of the site. And so we have really focused our amenities around the pool and in the lobby to offer tenants, even though some of the hotel rooms will translate into small physical apartment units, we will offer amenities that will allow them to get outside, enjoy the Arizona weather and environment, and have amenities at the property that they can they don't have to leave the site for to go, say, to fitness or to have a clubhouse or to congregate with other people, barbecue and things like that. Those are all centered around that courtyard area, the pool area.
And the pool, it's currently, what is it, 12 feet deep right now, David?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a 12 foot deep pool. It's really deep. There used to be a big diving board there, so imagine the swanky parties of the 60s and 70s, and everybody in their best one piece swan diving into the pool.
Yeah, but you're changing that to, I think, 6 feet deep.
Yeah, we're gonna shorten the depth to 6 feet. It's really, while it's cool to have a pool that's 12 feet for people that want to try to, dare their friends to touch the bottom. It's really not all that usable. So not many people want to tread water for that long. So here is just a location and a view of the site. So again, the property is here on the left. It's right at the interchange of the I-10 freeway and the St. Mary's off-ramp. And as you can see, Congress Avenue and downtown are 2 blocks away. And then a little bit further, kind of in the middle of the screen, you can see the orangish red buildings, which is the University of Arizona campus and medical, their medical campus. So while I don't expect us to have a ton of, we're not geared towards student housing per se, but I think for older students that are either in graduate school or maybe getting ready for graduation, if they want to be in the downtown Tucson environment, but still be close to campus, that we could be a good fit for that.
Well, and not only that, David, and I think it's on this slide, not a future slide, the big businesses that are there. I mean, you have Raytheon. What were some of the other ones that you had mentioned?
That's right. Just down I-10 freeway there's a big aerospace cluster, employment center of Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Bombardier, all have some really large aerospace facilities down at the Tucson airport. Downtown is county offices, the city offices, but then you have mining companies. You have the professional accounting firms of E&Y, Caterpillar, the tractor company opened up an office just on the west side of the I-10 freeway. So there's about 40,000 jobs in total in downtown Tucson.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and just as David has this up, I mean, it's 2 miles, right, from all the retail and even restaurants downtown, right? Is it no, 2 blocks?
Yeah, just 2 blocks.
2 blocks, not 2 miles. Just kidding. 2 blocks. So, I mean, residents there don't have to leave much. I mean, there's the pool, which we already talked about. There's the fitness center. There's the clubhouse, which you're going to show on here too. And so really they don't have to leave, but should they want to go out to eat, I mean, it's a quick walk or maybe a scooter ride or a bike ride or an Uber to some of the restaurants downtown. And so the location is impeccable.
Yeah, the legendary El Charro is it's right in the heart of the El Presidio neighborhood district. There's no question it's walking distance. The art museum is walking distance. The children's museum is just on the other side of downtown. And downtown Tucson over the last 10, 15 years has really become kind of its own, I don't want to say urban center because it's still Tucson, but it still has some high density, and it has a lot to offer. There are several new mid-rise, new construction, downtown living options that are available in Tucson. So people can have that environment, or for about 2/3 of the price and 2 blocks away, they can have more of a suburban style environment at our property.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I'm excited to dive into some of the units, David. I'm not sure if that's what was next or if it was another slide of, I almost know your slides by heart.
Yeah, this is just more talking about the overall investment before we kind of get into some of the nuances of the site. We like the Tucson market. Occupancy is strong at 93%. They still have year-over-year rental growth that is down from some of the other highs, but most recently it was still at 3%. So you're not seeing the big headlines of massive increases, but the market and the fundamentals still are strong. Again, we talked about the minimal execution risk and that we are construction ready, or really under construction now. We talked about the rent structure. All in, I think a really important metric for us on the investment side is building whatever we're investing in, but being all in, our all-in costs being below replacement costs. And so our all-in costs for the project are $170,000 per unit, which is significantly under replacement costs. Best-in-class amenities. We talked about that. We'll talk more about it. But what you have in some of the downtown kind of vertical mid-rise properties are just everything is smaller. So they're going to have a smaller fitness room, and they're going to have a smaller pool and smaller clubhouse and those kinds of things. And again, we're on a 10-acre site, and so we're going to have a lot of social amenities, a large fitness center. We'll have a volleyball court, a very large lounge, business center. And all of our units are going to they'll be smart units with Bluetooth locks. So you can have keyless entry. They will have fiber optic Wi-Fi. So no more AOL or dial-up service or DSL or even cable now. So we are offering fiber optic internet, wireless internet, well, hardwire and wireless internet connection in every unit, and also in all the common areas. So
I'm moving to Tucson.
Yeah, so that's really nice, especially in this environment with streaming and mobile devices and all those kinds of things. It's sometimes it can be hard to upgrade existing service. So yeah. Just kind of round out kind of the investment side, we talked about the excess land with no land basis, and we think that that's certainly something very favorable on the exit. That in this environment now with new construction in the market, that we will be able to, if we don't build it ourselves, we certainly will be able to extract some value out of that when we go to sell the asset.
Yeah. David, I want to kind of bring that up. So you guys will hold this for a minimum amount of time because it's an opportunity zone, right? We kind of talked about that within the video. What is that timeline? And do you think there's a possible exit before you build those additional units? Because the more I hear about this, I mean, I think about the mix of units mixed with the location. I mean, it's just going to be its own little community there, essentially. It's going to be an amazing project.
Right. Well, this portion of the investment the property is in an opportunity zone. This portion of the investment does not qualify for opportunity zone benefits. But as you're saying, Christian, if we went forward on the new development site, which would have to really be a whole new capitalization and a separate offering, that you're right, we are targeting that to be an opportunity zone investment if we go that direction.
Cool.
So. So this is the site with the existing buildings and the proposed new buildings that we were just talking about. The orange buildings are the existing buildings that will be converted into Presidio Palms apartments, and the yellow buildings represent the additional new buildings that would give us another 154 units.
There we go.
Yeah, here's the location map with just kind of some highlights of what's going on all around Tucson, everything from downtown, around the freeway, down to the airport.
Christian, can you make it big again?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll switch that, but let's put it back.
There we
There
go.
we go. So here's the capital plan for the site. These are a couple of renderings, digital renderings of the units. And so the site will be about almost 50-50 studios to one bedrooms, but all the units will have full kitchens and equipped with washer and dryer units. So it's within 300 square feet. For a 300 square foot studio, people are getting a really, really efficient floor plan that will have all the amenities of a full-size apartment. And so you could see the rendering on the left. That is the rendering of a studio. So it's a short, truncated kitchen, but you see you have a full-size refrigerator and freezer, full-size range, sink, cabinets, microwave. And then I'll show a different floor plan where the washer dryer units are. And then the same with the photo on the right is the one bedroom unit with a little bit of a larger kitchen, but again, same full size refrigerator, range, and like standard one bedroom apartment. The units we've taken this property all the way down to the studs. We did all the environmental remediation, and then we've come back and we've put in all new wiring, everything from transformers with Tucson Electric and Power, all new distribution throughout all of the units. The plumbing, same thing. We are replumbing the entire property, hot water, cold water, all the sewer drain lines, all of those are either replaced or what they call is relining them. So it's, we're putting life safety fire sprinkler systems are required. We are new roofs. I mean, it's new HVAC. There really are, it's basically new construction except for the masonry walls that were put up in 1965. Is really what it gets down to. So one of the cool things that we're doing on these units is we are adding patios. So this is a one bedroom unit. On the ground floor, you'll see on the right-hand side of the floor plan where it says patio. That was the original walkway under the hotel. And so what we're doing is we're moving the sidewalk into the courtyard a little bit, and then we're putting in a patio at the front of the unit. So when people will walk in, they'll enter through a patio, a nice large living room, as you can see, a very nice large size kitchen, and then the one bedroom unit has a really nice walk-in closet where in some units, the washer dryer units will be located in those units.
Wow. Downtown patio, fire, all the amenities.
Yeah. And those 4-story buildings will have views looking back to downtown. We didn't even talk about that. I don't think
no, we didn't.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, it's really neat. So this is kind of the same floor plan again with the patio out front where you enter into the unit. And then the studio unit, again, it's for a 315 square foot studio. You have a nice outdoor living area. You have your bedroom, your living kind of dining living area, you have your kitchen, and then you kind of have this walk-in closet bath feature where you have a nice size little walk-in closet in the corner and then a washer dryer unit in that bathroom closet area. So as we get into the clubhouse, we have a lot of space because the hotel we're converting some of these hotel spaces into the multifamily, and we're able to provide really about almost a 3,000 square foot gym that will have all the not all, but it'll have all the cardio and weightlifting trimmings and yoga studios and bikes and all that kind of stuff that you would get at a gym that are the high volume equipment and machines and weights and things that generally get used in a fitness facility. So all of that will be here in this area right off the lobby. That'll be overlooking the pool, which would be kind of nice.
Yeah, that'll be nice. And it's 3,000 square feet. That's huge for an
Yeah, it's really
apartment.
large.
Yeah, multifamily fitness center. It's huge.
Here's kind of an overview of the outdoor amenities around the pool, where you can see a volleyball court kind of at the lower portion of the rendering. Around the pool, we'll have the hospitality cabana style or cabanas, so people have that resort style living. You can see around the pool, some barbecue covered areas that'll have seating and barbecues and other lounging areas where we'll have, again, Wi-Fi for all the residents to be able to sit outside and still stay connected. This is a floor plan of the business office, leasing office, where we've created separate spaces for residents and prospective residents. So when you enter kind of at the top of the floor plan, that's where we'll generally have the prospective resident leasing manager functions there as people come in to be able to greet them. And then in the lower half of the floor plan is where we'll have the resident amenities, seating areas for them to gather with big screen TVs that they can rent out the space after hours if they want to watch a game on the weekends or a movie or the award shows or what have you, birthday parties, and you name it. The facility is available for residents to use on weekends and after hours. So there's kind of quite a bit going on in there. There's a little coffee bar, as I said, the seating area with the TV. There's a little business center if people don't want to go back to their unit to jump online, or they need to handle anything, say with the management staff or a work order or what have you. And then we have a little game area where we kind of go a little retro with the arcade games, where you can select any of your old classic games of Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, and all that kind of good stuff. So fun.
It's fun.
Tetris, Pac-Man, all of them.
There you go. Exactly.
Bring back memories.
So our team here in Scottsdale, obviously myself, Leanne, who's a partner in the firm, she handles all things asset management, property management related. She is by far the strongest operational person that I know. She came up through Greystar and property management and property operations, and like I said, is incredibly strong for us on the operational side. She'll be handling the lease up and overseeing the property management staff. Wendy Parladine has over 25 years property management accounting experience, just extremely solid and experienced team. In the last slide, I'll have some more contact information for the company, for our website, my contact information, email, cell phone, office phone, and our investor relations email if somebody wants to send in just a general question.
So, and Christian, if you can leave that up for just a second there. Just a reminder, this is a 506c raise that David is doing. What we're doing right now is just for demonstration and educational purposes. We love what David's doing. He has a beautiful property in Tucson, this resort style living. And so this isn't an official solicitation. If you're interested in more information, David, there's 2 emails on there. Which one would you prefer? Anyone that's watching that might be interested in more information on this property, or even to request the PPM, which email on there would you prefer for them to reach out to you or your team?
Sure. People should reach out to me directly if they have some questions or want some information on this particular offering. We can get them all the necessary disclosures and documentation, like you said, for the 506C offering. If people want to get our investment updates, our newsletter, want to stay in touch, maybe with future offerings or what have you, then they could just email the investor relations email address and just say, hey, could you put me into your distribution list, and we can get them on that.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Christian, I think you had something to say in there too.
Well, nothing specific. I just want to say, David, that it's been great getting to know you a little bit and understanding your story and the shifts and things that you've made in the market. You're a real estate nerd, much like myself. You love diving into the different aspects of it, and yeah, it's just it's fun to see what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing all the projects that you have moving forward.
Yeah. We're excited, David, and we're glad that we can link arms in some of this and really raising the standard in the industry for real estate syndications. And I've taken a look at your website. I know you have other properties on there for previous projects. I think, do you have some of the properties that you've exited on there too?
yeah, we have our full portfolio is on the website, our current assets and some of the prior assets. So
yeah. So yeah, David, we're so grateful that you came to the studio in Salt Lake City, Utah, that we did that interview. And again, I believe there's a link in the comments on whatever platform you're looking at, a YouTube link. That's to David's full-length interview that we did in the studio. So if you're watching this and you want to take a look at that, just look in the comment section and find that YouTube link, and that'll take you to David's full-length video. And Christian, back to you.
All right. And so with that, also, if you guys are a sponsor and you're watching this and you want to become an approved sponsor, then we'll just throw up a link for that as well. You guys can just follow that link to go through the process of getting approved. As David said earlier in the call, it's not too cumbersome. If you have all your ducks in a row and all of your documentation, it's a pretty simple process. It's just submitting that and going through. But what you'll find is that many accredited investors these days, they're getting smarter. They want to understand the people that they're working with. And so this is an opportunity for you to go through our approval process, which comes from literally, if you add them up, it's combined hundreds of years of experience in the syndication world put together that are doing some of that pre-process for you. But if you're a sponsor, this is an opportunity for you to also create some good content around what you're doing and help you go out there and find those people who are smarter and who want to work with good, solid sponsors like David.
Yes.
Well, it's been great. Thanks for having me again, and look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Thanks, David. And for those of you watching right now, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back again, I'm sure, next week per usual. So thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.